Hey, what's going on, my nerds and collectors alike? Keeping the trend rolling with the Into the Spider-Verse reviews. Today we're looking at Gwen Stacy from Into the Spider-Verse. Before we get started, as always, I want to say that this channel and all of its content is not for viewers under 13 years of age. You know, YouTube guidelines, gotta love them. So, looking at the package here, we get a nice 2-for-1 deal. Look, we got Spider-Ham with Gwen in this one, which makes perfect sense if you actually read the comics, because in the comic books, after their whole little mix-up, Spider-Ham kind of follows her around in her mind. So that's pretty cool. Looking at here, we have a very nice head sculpt for the unmasked Gwen Stacy. Looks exactly like the movie. And we also get her masked head, which looks fantastic. You got your Build-A-Figure piece, and you got a couple of whipping hands. So she's looking pretty good in there. So, says Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Gwen Stacy from Hasbro, with Miles Morales' spider symbol. Up at the top, you got Miles Morales' spider symbol. On the side here, we got a nice illustration of Gwen Stacy from the movie. And Miles Morales' spider symbol. And this is the only Spider-Verse package from the Wave to actually differ. So on the other side, we have an image of Spider-Ham with the spider symbol. So that's always good to see. On the back here, we've got a larger image of Gwen. And we got pictures of all the figures you're going to need to build the Stiltman Build-A-Figure. And as I said, I am not building this Build-A-Figure, so I'm only doing the Spider-Verse reviews. But just in case you are, the figures you will need in this wave are Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, Peter B. Parker, Marvel's Prowler, the Hand Ninja, and Marvel's the Frogman. So before we read the bio, we've got your warnings that, hey, they're small parts, please don't put it in your mouth. We've got officially licensed by Marvel, we have the crying baby, so nobody under 3 years old can play with this. That sucks. On the bottom, you got your barcodes, your legalese, your warnings. Please don't put it in your mouth. So, Gwen Stacy. Intelligent and quick-witted, Gwen has a sharp sense of humor and is a natural leader. Hasbro, you're really shorting us on these bios nowadays, aren't you? I remember when bios used to tell you a lot about the character, learn about him. But hey, that's how it is. You've seen the movie, you get the gist. Alright, so let's crack her open and see what Miss Gwen is about. Alright guys, so here we have Gwen, or Gwanda, if you know what's good, out of the package. She's looking pretty good. This is another just really good figure from Hasbro. Only thing is, they do have, you know, the regular problems with the female figures, as no double-jointed elbows, no butterfly joints, stuff like that. Less hands, you know. Maybe one day Hasbro will bless us and start putting double-jointed elbows in these figures, but for now, here we sit. Gwen's looking pretty good. If you notice, her spider costume in Spider-Verse is actually slightly different than her costume in the comic books. And they actually gave her a lot of different pieces, like new pieces. I'm pretty sure the only pieces that they reused are the arms and maybe even new forearms here. They reused the diaphragm piece, so this bottom torso piece, and they used the same upper hip pieces. And that's it. So she has a completely new head sculpt under here. Hood is all different. She's got the pinless technology in her legs. Her feet are different, so they have the actual ballerina slipper design instead of the Chinese slipper design that she has in the comics. So she's got her slippers from the movie. She's got a nice web pattern inside of her arm there, and she also has it inside of her hood, if you can see. They've got the nice pink picked out around her eyes, which looks really stunning. Nice, and it pops, looks pretty good. Come around the back here, you got spider symbol coming down and around. That's a little bit annoying. I wish they would stop putting their code here. I wish they'd start putting it down here, like on one of the bottom of the feet or something, but maybe even inside the back of the hood, that would be nice. But, you know, is what it is. she looks really good. She's nice and petite. So I guess we will get into articulation. So Gwen's head is on a ball joint and a hinge. So with her mask on, she can look up that far, and she's actually looking up in the hood. It's just covering her eyes a little bit. She can look down that far, so she can pretty much bury her chin. There is pretty much no tilt, but that's not a problem. She's got swivel at the head, which is always good. Her arms go all the way up, and they rotate 360. She has a bend at the elbow, which here's why I was thinking that the the forearms are new, because they actually extend past 90. So that's a new cut in these forearms, which means this forearm piece is new. So they just used the upper arms of the old figure. So that's nice. And there's also a swivel at the elbow. She has rotation at the wrists, and her wrists go in and out for both sets of hands. She has a diaphragm joint, which allows her to bend forward. Not at all. It's kind of a running thing with these Spider-Verse figures. They can't bend forward at all. No crunch forward. Crunch back. Decent amount. She can kick forward that far. Can't really kick back a lot. Her legs are on a ball joint, so her hips only go out that far. So that's disappointing, especially for a spider person. We need better kicking articulation there, Hasbro. Probably a lot better forward, too. That's not great, but oh well. There's a swivel at the thigh. She has double jointed knees. And boop, can kick her own back. That's for you, Whoosh Robo. She's got a shin swivel. So she's got the boot cut basically above her slippers. Her feet kick back that far. Kick forward a good amount. And as always, ankle pivot. So for accessories, Gwen has an alternate head. So for that, you just take that off, and she has an alternate hood piece, so you just slide that on. Take the unmasked head, which looks very nice, very accurate to the movie. Even has her shaved side over there. Looks pretty good. She even has her little eyebrow piercing. So yeah, that's nice. I have a little bit of a paint imperfection right there at the corner of the mouth, so I might be able to scrub that off. Oh, there it goes. Just use the nail a little bit, and there you go. Pop that head on. Just rotates more. With this head, her articulation is not hindered at all. She actually has a little bit more in the neck with this head on. I do also want to point out that they did put paint for extra highlight in her hair at the roots, so that looks really good. And she also comes with, take these out here. She comes with a pair of fisted hands, which if you remember the first two releases of Spider-Gwen, you only had the option of you could have one fist and one thwipping hand. So it's very nice to see Gwen come with two fisted hands and two thwipping hands this time. Hasbro, thank you. You still gotta start giving your female figures some more accessories and better articulation, but we're going a step in the right direction. We're doing good. Credit where credit is due. Another thing I wanted to try before we get too much into it. If you have the Marvel Legends Gwenpool, her hands are actually also a white, and the peg looks kind of similar. So let's see if the Gwenpool hands, we'll try the cell phone holding hand from Gwenpool, will fit on Spider-Gwen. And there's not actually a little pop and the white is a little bit off, but if you have the Marvel Legends Gwenpool, they fit on Spider-Gwen pretty much perfectly. So you can have Gwen chilling, hanging out with Miles, throw up the peace sign. Very nice. You love to see that. It's always good when your female figures, especially since they don't come with a lot of hands, when you can mix and match parts from them and use them for more options. Options are always good. So, we have Gwen there, and we'll take a quick look at Spider-Ham, or Peter Porker. So, as you probably know, he's basically just an unarticulated body with a ball joint for the head. I mean, he's a tiny figure. Articulation would have been nice, but he looks good. He's got his nice little tail in there, and the webs are all sculpted into him. He's got a nice matte blue. He's painted up pretty nicely. Looks good. He is very top-heavy, so let's get him there. You kind of got to just find the right way to put his head, which I guess I got on the first try, so I guess I'm lucky with that. But he looks good next to her. He's nice and short like he should be. He's got his cartoonish proportions. He's got his 2 toes. So he's got 2 toes, and if you look at his hands, he's got 3 fingers, so 2 normal and a thumb. Oh no, 3 normal and a thumb. I guess I didn't notice that. Look at that. He's even got his little spider symbol painted on both sides. So yeah, he looks good. I do not have the other Spider-Ham to compare him to, so that's a bummer. But speaking of comparisons, another thing I wanted to try, we'll compare these first, the 2 different versions of Gwen. So we have Gwen Stacy from the 616. Oh, now she doesn't want to stand. There we go. Gwen Stacy from the 616. And we'll see if Gwenpool will stand with her. She's wanting to fight it. There we go. So there's Spider-Gwen from Into the Spider-Verse next to Gwenpool and Gwen Stacy. And we'll go ahead and take these figures away, but something I wanted to try was taking the Retro Collection Gwen Stacy's head, and I would like to see if it fits on this body. So we'll do a little bit of off-camera strength here. And it does. Yeah! So if you wanted that option, the 616 Gwen Stacy and the Into the Spider-Verse Gwen Stacy have the same sized neck peg. So if you wanted to have Into the Spider-Verse Gwen Stacy in some civilian-style clothing, or if you just wanted to have a better-looking head sculpt for your 616 Spider-Gwen, there you go. So that's something you could do. Very nice. Let's get these heads swapped back over here. Alright, so moving into comparisons, we will have Gwen next to Peter. And we'll go ahead and we'll get the Prowler in here. So, Peter and the Prowler stand much taller than her like they should, because, you know, even in the movie, she's still just a teenager. I think she's 14. She's like a year older than Miles. So she's a little bit shorter. So they look good together. Let's get them out of here. We'll compare her with Mary Jane Watson, who is the singer of the Mary Janes, which is the band that she is in when she is Spider-Gwen. And we'll have her next to Green Goblin, which is the man who killed her in the 616. So they look pretty good together. Mary Jane, obviously being an adult there, is a little bit taller than she is, but, you know, it works out. Get these out of here. We'll go ahead and do a comparison with Dr. Octopus. And we'll do a comparison with the Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker. If I can get him in there. There we go. So the Ultimate Body, which is the body that the comic Miles Morales shares, is a little bit shorter than she is, which makes perfect sense. Because Miles is a little bit shorter. So she looks good overall. We'll take those away. We'll go ahead and stick her companion with her. And we'll get Peter in the background here, taking a little group picture. Overall, I think the figure looks great. All of the accessories fit fantastic. Her articulation, be that a little limited, is still really good. Nice to see. I'm loving these head sculpts from the Spider-Verse movie. They're doing fantastic. It's awesome that she can use the Gwenpool hands. She can use the 616 Gwen Stacy head sculpt. I think Hasbro knocked it out of the park again. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Stay safe.